Prince of Orange is a title originally associated with the sovereign Principality of Orange, in what is now southern France. Under the Treaty of Utrecht of 1713, Frederick William I of Prussia ceded the Principality of Orange to King Louis XIV of France. After William III of England died without children, a dispute arose between Johan, Willem, Friso and Frederick I of Prussia, which was settled in the Treaty of Partition. Consequently, Friso's son, William IV, had to share use of the title Prince of Orange with Frederick William I of Prussia. The title is traditionally borne by the heir apparent of the Dutch monarch. The title descends via absolute primogeniture since 1983, meaning that its holder can be either Prince or Princess of Orange. The Dutch royal dynasty, the House of Orange-Nassau, is not the only family to claim the title. Rival claims to the title have been made by German emperors and kings of the House of Hohenzollern and by the head of the French noble family of Mailly. The current users of the title are Catharina Amalia, Princess of Orange, Suo Georg Friedrich, Prince of Prussia, and Guy, Marquis de Mailly-Nesle. History. County of Orange. The title originally referred to Orange in the Vaucluse department in the Rhône Valley of southern France, which was a property of the House of Orange, then of the House of Bou and the House of Chillon, before passing in 1544 to the House of Orange-Nassau. The principality originated as the County of Orange, a fief in the Holy Roman Empire, in the empire's constituent kingdom of Burgundy. It was awarded to William of Chillon, a grandson of Charles Martel and therefore a cousin of Charlemagne, around the year 800 for his services in the wars against the Moors and in the reconquest of southern France and the Spanish March. His Occitan name is Wilhelm. However, as a Frankish lord, he probably knew himself by the Old Germanic version of Wilhelm. William also ruled as Count of Toulouse, Duke of Aquitaine, and Marquis of Septimania. The horn that came to symbolize orange when heraldry came in vogue much later in the 12th century represented a pun on William of Chillon's name in French, for the character his deeds inspired in the Chanson de Gesta, the Chanson de Guillaume, Guillaume au Cornez, or its homophone, Guillaume au Cornet. The chanson appears to incorporate material relating to William of Chillon's battle at the Orbiu or Orbil River near Carcassonne in 793 as well as to his seizure of the town of Orange. Principality of Orange. As the Kingdom of Burgundy fragmented in the early Middle Ages, the Holy Roman Emperor Frederick I Barbarossa elevated the Lordship of Orange to a principality in 1163 to shore up his supporters in Burgundy, against the Pope and the King of France. As the empire's boundaries retreated from those of the principality, the prince succeeded to the sovereign rights that the emperor formerly exercised. As William the Silent wrote in his marriage proposal to the uncle of his second wife, the Elector August of Saxony, he held Orange as my own free property, not as a fief of any suzerain, neither the Pope nor the kings of Spain or France. That historical position of honor and reputation would later drive William the Silent forward, as much as it also fueled the opposition of his great-grandson William III to Louis XIV when that king invaded and occupied Orange. The last descendant of the original princes, René of Chillon, left the principality to his cousin William the Silent, who was not a descendant of the original Orange family but the heir to the Principality of Orange by testament. However, in violation against the inheritance pattern enacted by the last will of Marie d'Esbou, the Princess of Orange through kinship to whom Prince René derived his own right thereto. In 1673, Louis XIV of France annexed all territory of the Principality to France under the royal domain, as part of the war actions against the stadtholder William III of Orange, who later became King William III of Great Britain. Orange ceased to exist as a sovereign realm, de facto. In 1673, Louis XIV bestowed the titular princedom on Louis Charles de Mailly, Marquis de Nesle, whose wife was a direct descendant, and heiress general by primogeniture, of the original princes of Orange. After the Marquis, the next holder was Louis of Mailly-Nesle, Marquis de Nesle. Although no longer descended from Louis Charles, a branch of the Mailly family still claimed the title today. In 1714, Louis XIV bestowed the usufruct of the principality on his kinsman, Louis Armand of Bourbon, Prince de Conti. After his death in 1727, the principality was deemed merged in the crown by 1731. Abolition of the principality, continuation of the title. Because William III died without legitimate children, the principality was regarded as having been inherited by his closest cognate relative on the basis of the testament of Frederick Henry, Frederick I of Prussia, who ceded the principality, at least the lands, but not the formal title, to France in 1713. France supported his claim. In this way, the territory of the principality lost its feudal and secular privileges and became a part of France. The Treaty of Utrecht allowed the King of Prussia to erect part of the Duchy of Gelderland into a new Principality of Orange. The kings of Prussia and the German emperors styled themselves Princes of Orange till 1918. An agnatic relative of William III, John William Friso of Nassau, who was also cognatically descended from William the Silent, was designated the heir to the Princes of Orange in the Netherlands by the last will of William III. Several of his descendants became stadtholders. They claimed the Principality of Orange on the basis of agnatic inheritance, similar to that of William the Silent, who had inherited Orange from his cousin René of Chillon. They did however have a claim, albeit distant, to the Principality itself due to John William Friso's descent from Louise de Coligny, who was a descendant of the original Princes of Orange. They could also claim descent from the Del Balzo, an Italian branch of the Desbou family, via the marriage of Princess Anne to William IV, Prince of Orange. Anne was the eldest daughter of George II of Great Britain, who was a descendant of Elizabeth Woodville, wife of Edward IV of England. Elizabeth Woodville's grandmother was Margarita del Balzo, another descendant of Thiberge d'Orange. They also claimed on the basis of the testament of Philip William Maurice and William III. Finally, they claimed on the basis that Orange was an independent state whose sovereign had the right to assign his succession according to his will. France never recognized any of this, nor allowed the Orange Nassau's of the Hohenzollerns to obtain anything of the principality itself. The Oranje Nassau's nevertheless assumed the title and also erected several of the lordships into a new Principality of Orange. For that derivation of the title comes the tradition of the House of Nassau-Dietz, the latest stadtholders of the Netherlands, and the present-day royal family of the Netherlands, of holding this title. They maintained the tradition of William the Silent and the House of Orange-Nassau. There are two other claimants to this title: the House of Hohenzollern, who reigned in Prussia until 1918, the House of Mailly-Nesles, bearers of the title, as Counts of Orange, House of Orange as Sovereign Prince of Orange until 1340. It was customary for all sons of the Prince of Orange to inherit the title. Only the direct line of descent to Raymond V is shown here. House of Bou. The House of Bou succeeded to the Principality of Orange when Bertrand of Bou married the heiress of the last native Count of Orange, Thiberge, daughter of William of Orange, Omlaz and Montpellier. The son was William I of Orange. Bertrand was the son of Raymond of Boo and Stephanie of Gévaudan. Stephanie was the younger daughter of Gerberga, the heiress of the Counts of Provence. For a genealogical table, see the reference cited. Bertrand I used as Prince of Orange the coat of arms of the House of Boo, a 16-pointed white star placed on a field of gules. Later on, the Princes of Orange courted the legendary bugle horn as a heraldic figure into the coat of arms. House of Boo Orange, House of Chillon. The Lords of Chalons and Arles were a cadet branch of the ruling house of the County of Burgundy, the Anscarids a House of Ivray. They married the heiress of Boo Orange, House of Chillon Orange. René inherited the Principality of Orange from his uncle Philbert on the condition that he bear the name and arms of the House of Chillon Orange. Therefore, he is usually counted as one of the Chillon Orange, and history knows him as René of Chillon, rather than of Nassau. House of Orange Nassau. William of Nassau inherited the Principality of Orange from his cousin René. Although William descended from no previous Prince of Orange, as René had no children or siblings, he exercised his right as sovereign prince to will Orange to his first cousin on his father's side, who actually had no Orange blood. This began the Dutch royal House of Orange Nassau. Title without territory. House of Orange Nassau. The second House of Orange Nassau, see House of Orange Nassau family tree, were cousins on the father and mother's side of the first house. Head of House Netherlands, heir apparent House of Hohenzollern. Frederick I of Prussia, of senior descendant in female line from William the Silent, who ceded his claims to the lands of Orange to France in 1713, and his descendants, but kept his right to use the title in its German form. Currently Georg Friedrich, Prince of Prussia, Prince von Oranian. House of Mailly. Louis de Mailly, Marquis de Nesle de Mailly, appointed by the French king, and his descendants, descended through another line of the House of Chalons-Arles, currently Guy, Marquis de Nesle de Mailly, Prince d'Orange. House of Bourbon. Louis Armand II, Prince of Conti, appointed by the French king, and his descendants, the Princes of Conti becoming extinct in 1815. Princes of Orange of the House of Orange Nassau. Historical background. William the Silent was the first stadtholder of the Dutch Republic and the most significant representative of the House of Orange in the Netherlands. He was count of a portion of the German territory of Nassau and heir to some of his father's fiefs in Holland. William obtained more extensive lands in the Netherlands as an inheritance from his cousin René of Chillon, Prince of Orange, when William was only 11 years old. After William's assassination in 1584, the title passed to his son Philip William, and after his death in 1618, to his second son Maurice, and finally to his youngest son, Frederick Henry. The title of Prince of Orange became associated with the stadtholder of the Netherlands. William III was also King of England, Scotland and Ireland, and his legacy is commemorated annually by the Protestant Orange Order. William and Mary had no legitimate children. After his death in 1702, his heir in the Netherlands was John William Friso of Nassau-Diez, who assumed the title, King William having bequeathed it to him by testament. The other contender was the king in Prussia, who based his claim to the title on the will of Frederick Henry, William III's grandfather. Eventually, a compromise was reached by which both families were entitled to bear the title of Prince of Orange. By then, it was no more than a title because the principality had been annexed by Louis XIV of France. Friso's line held it as the principal title during the 18th century. The French army expelled them from the Netherlands in 1795, but on the return, the Prince of Orange became the first sovereign of the Netherlands in 1813. After the establishment of the current Kingdom of the Netherlands in 1815, the title was partly reconstitutionalized by legislation and granted to the eldest son of King William I, First of the Netherlands, Prince William, who later became William II of the Netherlands. Since 1983, the heir to the Dutch throne, whether male or female, bears the title Prince or Princess of Orange. The firstborn child of the heir to the Dutch throne bears the title Hereditary Prince of Orange. When her father Willem Alexander became King of the Netherlands following the abdication of Queen Beatrix, Princess Catharina Amalia became the Princess of Orange. Style: the Prince of Orange is styled Her Royal Highness the Prince of Orange van Oranje. During the 15th, 16th and 17th centuries, the Prince of Orange was styled Her Highness the Prince of Orange van Oranje, except for William III, who rated the Royal Koninklijke arms. The Princes of Orange in the 16th and 17th century used the following sets of arms. On becoming Prince of Orange, William placed the Chillon arms in the center of his father's arms. He used these arms until 1582, when he purchased the Marquisate of Veer and Vlissingen. He then used the arms attributed to Frederick, Henry, etc., with the arms of the Marquisate in the top center, and the arms of the County of Buren in the bottom center. The growing complexity shows how arms are used to reflect the growing political position and royal aspirations of the House of Orange-Nassau. When William VI of Orange returned to the Netherlands in 1813 and was proclaimed Sovereign Prince of the Netherlands, he courted the former arms of the Dutch Republic with the Chillon Orange arms, which had come to symbolize Orange. As an inner escutcheon he placed his ancestral arms of Nassau. When he became king in 1815, he combined the Dutch Republic lion with the billets of the Nassau arms and added a royal crown to form the coat of arms of the Netherlands. In the 19th century, the Dutch crown prince, who holds the title Prince of Orange, and his son, who holds the title Hereditary Prince of Orange, had their own predefined arms. The House of Orange, now the Royal House of the Netherlands, and the descendants the House of Orange-Nassau, kept this title for their family. Wilhelmina further decreed that in perpetuity her descendants should be styled Princes and Princesses of Orange-Nassau, and that the name of the house would be Orange-Nassau. Since then, individual members of the House of Orange-Nassau are also given their own arms by the reigning monarch, similar to the United Kingdom. This is usually the royal arms, courted with the arms of the Principality of Orange, and an inner escutcheon of the paternal arms. As a former territory of the Holy Roman Empire, the Princes of Orange used an independent prince's crown. Sometimes only the coronet part was used. After the establishment of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, they used the Dutch royal crowns. The Counts of Orange of the First House of Orange. The First House of Orange is somewhat of a conjecture given the fragmentary nature of documentation in the early medieval era. The French Wikipedia page for the First House of Orange has presented what is known with references. The chart is reproduced here. Descendants of Pons de Mevouillon and G.T. Hisson and G.T. Pons II de Mevouillon ex-Richile, Originaire de l'Usage and G.T. Ferrand de Nice évêque de Gap and G.T. Pierre de Mirabel évêque de Vaison and G.T. Pons III de Mevouillon and G.T. Descendants Mevouillon and G.T. Untitled Theys and G.T. Descendants Theys and G.T. Gerard and G.T. Rambo and G.T. Raoul and G.T. Laugier de Nice Exodiel de Provence, Fide Guillaume I.R. de Provence and G.T. Rostand de Gréoliers and G.T. Descendants Gréoliers and G.T. Pierre de Nice évêque de Sisteron and G.T. Jafcara de Nice ex-Amic de Vence-Avignon and G.T. GT, Gerbage de Nice XFR, Berenger d'Avignon, and GT, Rambo de Nice X1032 Excelena DAPT, and GT, Laugia DAPT Examanche de la Coste Castellane, and GT, Odila de Nice X Boniface de Riolan, and GT, Gisela de Nice X Rostang de Go, and GT, Laugia de Gout, Évêque d'Apt, Guara, and GT, Pierre II de Nice Évêque de Sisteron, Oui Évêque de Vaison, and GT, Rostand de Fréjus ex Excelena de Marignan, and GT, Rambo de Nice, Seigneur de Gréoliers ex Belildes de Marseille, and GT, Amic, and GT, Guillaume ex Savant 1045 Assalé de Riolan, Vufte Guilhem de Go, and GT, Bertrand Rambo de Range ex 1068 Adelaide de Cavannes, Vufte Guillaume V Bertrand de Provence, and GT, Ledger Aulogris, Évêque d'Avignon, and GT, Jausseron Laugia, Seigneur de Gréoliers ex 1064 Gerbage Fille de Falx Bertrand de Provence, and GT, Pierre, and GT, Rambo II de Range, the Crusader or English Wiki, and GT, Thiberge de Range x 1104 Giraud ADHE Acute Maillard de Montiel x 1129 Guillaume de Ormeles, and GT, Rainbow de Range, the famous troubadour.